It's so very pretty. Blue, 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 blue. Friends, hello friends, hi, hello. Hey there everyone, it's Misty here. Thank you so much for joining me. So, I have a diagnosis, now what? That's what I think I'm gonna call this video. So if you're new here, you're unfamiliar, just finding me, within the last 2 weeks, I have a diagnosis of FSHD. It is facioscapulohumeral muscular dystrophy. And it's taken me 7 years to get that diagnosis, and it was through genetic testing. And it's now like, okay, so I have this diagnosis, what next? Because there's really no treatment for it other than like physical therapy, occupational therapy, etc., to help kind of build muscle back. So I've been sitting around here thinking, what can I do? So I want to incorporate what I'm trying to do in therapy with what I'm trying to do as far as weight loss, etc. So, yeah. I've had my second session with my new therapist, and I think she and I are going to work out really well. We haven't dug deep because the last 2 weeks on this earth have been hell with a capital H. You guys know, I think I filmed the update on the 13th. No, on the 15th or the 16th, and that's kind of where I left it. I can't remember in that video if I mentioned that I was going to call UT Southwestern, and maybe I'd already called UT Southwestern, trying to speak to the manager of the neurology clinic, because you know, you're not allowed to doctor hop, but I feel like I have a pretty good case for being able to switch doctors. So I called and left a message and was like, I just wanted to talk to them. So they called back, I missed it. They left another message saying they don't do that. I called back and was like, I'm sorry, I think you misunderstood my message. You know, can I get a call back? And then I got a call back from someone named Amy. And I basically, my subconscious took over and said, I'm calling to file a formal complaint against these two doctors and the neurology clinic. And she was like, okay, tell me what happened. And I just spewed all of it. She's like, oh my gosh. She's like, I'm a fat person too. And she's like, you're making me realize that I think I've been gaslit by my doctor. And I was like, you know, you have to speak up. You have to, you know, advocate for yourself, because they're not going to do it. At the end of the day, they're not going to do it. And I said, and that's one of my problems with them. I said, you know, they were just, you know, it's so dismissive and condescending, and just refuse to do any other testing whatsoever, even though what I have now could have been diagnosed by muscle biopsy, could have been diagnosed with genetic testing last year, etc. I think I would be more furious if there was a treatment that I had been missing out on for a year and a half because they refused to do anything else. So I filed the formal complaint, and I said, you know, the only thing I want out of this is to speak to the manager of neurology so I can switch doctors. I said, I feel like I have a good case for that. I said, I would rather not come back to UT Southwestern. I said, but you are one of the 2 MDA centers in Dallas, and I'm not ready to commit to going outside of Dallas. So I called and made that complaint, and she said someone from the neurology clinic would be back in touch with me. That was either the Wednesday or Thursday before Thanksgiving. It's now the Tuesday after Thanksgiving, and I haven't heard anything, but I'm trying to give them until the end of the week. You guys know that patience is not something that I have in spades. So this hurry up and wait shit is frustrating. So there's that. I have 4 appointments this week. I had one yesterday. Who did I see yesterday? The plastic surgeon. So I mentioned to you guys that my eye had started like pulling down, my lid, like all of it just pulling down, not fluttering, actually like pulling it down. So I was thinking maybe Botox would help with that. So I saw my plastic surgeon yesterday, and he was like, yeah, I see exactly what you mean. He's like, but I don't think Botox would help. He's like, I think Botox would actually be more detrimental. He said because it freezes the muscle, so you won't be able to move it. And he said it could potentially freeze the lid open where you wouldn't be able to close it. And he said that brings a whole host of problems. You'd have dry eye, you'd have to put salve on your eye, you'd have to tape it shut, those kinds of things. And he said if it were like if it was all the way, he said it was intermittent. He's used the word intermittent. He's like, if it was all day, every day, he said we could consider it. He said, but I just don't feel like you're a good candidate for that. And I said, okay. And then we talked about, I said, okay, I said, so what weight would you be comfortable giving me a breast reduction? And he went into his whole spiel about gastric bypass and gastric sleeve, which I'm not going to do. You guys know I have a stance against that. I don't want to do that. I told him, I was like, that's just a tool. And I said, until I get my brain figured out right, I don't feel like it's a tool that I am ready to have to use. So, and you're sitting here telling me that, you know, going under anesthesia for breast reduction is risky and etc. Well, going under anesthesia for gastric sleeve is also risky. And I said, plus I've lost 100 pounds 3 times probably at this point, so I can do it. I don't know. I'm still trying to work out with my therapist. I told her yesterday, this is the second appointment with my new therapist, and I have eaten like crap. I did really, really well. I was doing like a whole week, which is good for me lately. And then my brother and my nephew had to come down unexpectedly last Sunday, and they stayed all of Sunday, Monday, and left early Tuesday morning. And I didn't have anything planned. I hadn't defrosted anything for dinner, so I was like, let's just order pizza, cheap and easy. And that just kind of gave me the excuse to just eat like shit the whole last week. Then I was sick on Thursday. We were supposed to go see family for Thanksgiving, and I just woke up not feeling well, and I was concerned. Like my aunt is 93 years old. I do not want to go down there and infect other people if it's like COVID or something like that. So I didn't go, and so we didn't have anything cooked for that day. So Rob was out, like, he went to Central Market. He ended up at Kroger. I ended up with sushi. I don't even remember what he got to eat, but. So yeah, so last week was just a wash. But I talked to my therapist yesterday, and I said I don't understand why I keep eating crap. I said it's self-harm. Yeah. I said this is a dichotomy, if that's the right word. I was like, on one side, I have one side of me that is fighting her ass off to figure out what the heck is wrong with her. I'm pushing, I'm fighting, I'm shoving, I'm doing everything that I can to learn what is wrong with me. And then you have this other side of me who's eating whatever the fuck she wants, and knowing that causes issues. It causes edema, it causes inflammation, it causes, my joints to hurt. Like I have all of these issues when I eat carbohydrates and eat off plan. So it's like, okay, so I have this side of me and then I have this side of me. And she said, well, she's like, maybe it's one of those things where it's like, you just want to be like everybody else. She's like, in knowing that there's probably nobody else that doesn't need some kind of dietary restriction. I was like, fair. And she said, maybe that's it. And I'm like, maybe it is it. I said, there's been times where I'm like, I just want to have a normal day. Like, I just want to have a normal day. I just want to feel normal. You guys have heard me say that over and over again. I said, but I don't know. I said, I don't know if it's because my cup is already full. Like, it's already full, and I cannot take, what the heck? Sorry. I can't take anything else. Like, I literally cannot take anything else into my brain. I can't give a fuck about anything else. And I think my eating has kind of fell into that. I said, but now that I have a diagnosis, I'm more determined than ever to get this weight off. Because while being fat didn't cause anything that's wrong with me, it's all been genetic. I have 2 letter diseases, OPLL and FSHD. So those are genetic, like it's just the luck of the draw, I guess. So, but I know that losing weight will help. And like I told him, I was like, I was never really able to wear a bra as a kid because it hurt. And now we know why it hurt, because of the way, anyway. So I feel like if I lose weight, can have my boobs, lifted and reduced and all of the things that maybe that will help. I said, I know I'm going to have a lot of excess skin. I said, I don't know if I want to even think about having that removed. I said, but I know that I need to lose weight. And I said, plus on top of it, I need to have another back surgery. I don't know what is going on when I get in bed, but the minute I'm horizontal, a nerve is pinched, and it doesn't matter what I do. Any movement, trying to get out of the bed, it hurts. Oh, it hurts so bad. And so that's been frustrating too. But it's like, okay, I definitely need to have a surgery and I've got to get this weight off. So it's 334 this morning. And so I have 35 pounds. I want to be under 300 by the end of the year. And I think I can do it. So let's move on to, I have a diagnosis, now what? So I've started vlogging again. I don't know if I'm going to post every day. I don't know if I'm going to post every other day, but I'm basically just sharing with you what I'm eating in a day. Now, I am coming off of a carb bender. And when I do that, so when I have so many carbohydrates, etc., it takes a few days for my body to kind of stop needing a lot of carbohydrates and food to fuel me. So like yesterday, I ate probably 4 times. And today I'm hungry. It's almost 1. I haven't eaten today. And that's mostly because I see my urologist today a little later. And I try not to eat if I have to go somewhere, because I never know when the Wegovy is going to be like, bitch, you got to find a toilet. So I've skipped that. But so I really want to get back into sharing my meals with you guys. If nothing else, it holds me accountable. Because but I'm going to be honest and real with you guys. I'm going to do some form of keto, carnivore, ketovore, basically high protein, like just like meat, dairy, and sometimes vegetables. Now, for me, vegetables are normally like mushrooms. I always love like canned mushrooms with a steak. I love black olives. I don't know if those are considered a fruit or if they're considered a vegetable. Like, I love those. Those are really the 2 main ones. Everyone's green beans. We eat some green beans. I make green beans and shallot butter. I think there's a recipe for that here on the channel. So those kinds of things. And so when my body craves a fruit, or when my body craves a vegetable, I'm going to give it to it. So I don't want to say I'm going to commit to a specific meal plan when my main goal is to get back off carbohydrates and get back into ketosis. So if you're new, or if you've been wondering, you don't need a supplement to get you into ketosis. You don't need these specific macros to get you in ketosis. You just have to starve your body of carbohydrates. That's it. Literally, that's it. So I won't be following a specific set of macros. I will be weighing in once a month. My goal is to continue my kind of planning my intentions for the month. So I've planned them for the last 5 months and haven't done any of them. But I'm picking a word of the month. I normally pick a word of the year, and I think I may still do that for 2024. But I want to do a monthly kind of overall focus. So like for November, it was supposed to be consistency, and it was not. So I think consistency is going to be December's word. And then I set a physical, an emotional, a financial, and a relationship. I set 3 or 4 intentions for each of those areas, and then I track them with a habit tracker. So, and I'm considering offering that as a printable in my Etsy shop. So you guys will have to let me know if that's something you're interested in. So I want to do those videos with you probably around the 1st or the 2nd of every month. I'm also considering like weekly recaps. So for those of you who don't want to watch what I eat every day, I can sit down and tell you like what I felt like, how things worked, my average blood sugars, ketones, etc. As you probably know, if you've been with me forever, you know that I can get very fixated on the numbers. And that's why I'm going to, I may weigh twice a month, but I'm only going to share one weight with you guys. Mostly for me, for my mental health, because I hate when people are like, you should have lost more weight, blah, blah, blah. The weight, the mass you take up on the planet is not indicative to health. You can be 110 pounds and be unhealthy. So it's not indicative to health. And on top of that, you can go through cycles where you may not be losing any pounds, but you've lost inches. And I have a picture, and I don't know if I still have it, where there's a 5-pound difference between each picture. And you can just see how much slimmer my face is after losing just 5 pounds. So I think it's important to, to kind of remember that and keep that in mind, that there's other metrics, there's other numbers, like my blood sugar numbers and my and my ketones. Those are the things I'm probably going to focus on more. I see my endocrinologist this month. She is going to be pissed at me. I'm just going to tell her, like, listen, my life has been a dumpster fire for the past 6 months, and I have given 0 fucks about what went in my mouth. Like, zero. And I don't know if that's an act of rebellion. I don't know what that means. All I know is that I haven't cared, and I'm trying to care. So it's nothing about willpower. If you guys remember, after I did a 21-day water fast. So it's not willpower. It's just, I don't know. It's just getting it done. And that's what I need to do. So I want to do monthly intentions with a weigh-in. I'm going to do vlogs, like I said, vlogs and kind of recaps of like weekly recaps and monthly recaps, kind of, you know, my intentions, how did that go? What do I think worked and what didn't work, etc. Those kinds of things. And then the last video, that won't really be a series. Well, there's actually 2 more. I think I have a piece of dry skin or something on my lip. Anyway, I want to sit down and work out a morning routine and an evening routine. So one thing to note, when you're homebound, it can be really, really hard to have any kind of motivation to get up and get stuff done, or to get up and be, you know, a person during the day, especially if you're someone who deals with chronic illness and chronic pain. It can be daunting. Every day is daunting. And that's why I told my therapist, I said, my issue is every day, this is my best day. This is the best day I'm going to have. I may have good days going forward, but my disease continues to deteriorate my body every single day. So that can be really hard for me. It was really hard when I left the workforce. You guys know, like, I struggled so much with having to leave my job. I didn't realize how much of my identity was tied up into my career. So that's why I put on makeup, and that's why I put on a shirt, you know, and sometimes it's to film, and sometimes it's just to feel like I've gotten up and I've accomplished something and I'm ready to start my day. So, and plus I'm having memory issues. Lord have mercy on my soul. We put up the Christmas tree, and if I've said that already, I apologize. And it's plugged into a surge protector that's plugged into a timer, and it's plugged into where I normally keep, I have a heated throw because I'm always cold in the winter, always. And we keep our house like on 70. And then I have my phone charger, and we've had to move that. And 3 times on Sunday, I asked Rob if I could go ahead and plug my stuff into that surge protector. And I was like, I'm sorry, because no, I can't, because that surge protector is on a timer. And that means it would only work when the timer's on. But I asked him that 3 times on Sunday. And each time I was like, I'm so sorry. I have no idea what's going on. But yeah, so I'm having memory issues and stuff like that. So I hope that getting in a routine where I'm doing the same stuff in the same order every single day will kind of help with those kinds of things. I don't know if it will, but I'm hoping. So yeah, I want to work on a routine and then like assess that every month. Okay, is this routine working or is it not working? What can I add to it? Do I need to take something away? I feel like 2024 is just going to be the year of working on myself, working on self-talk, working on how I treat myself, working on, just dealing with the trauma from my childhood and recent trauma that's been happening. This has all been traumatic. Dealing with that, getting used to new doctors. I have to see an audiologist. I need to see a pulmonologist. I have all of these kind of daunting tasks ahead of me. And so I feel like I need to stay very self-aware going forward. And that might actually be my word for 2024. I haven't decided yet. But I feel like I need to be really cognizant of what my body and my mind are going through. Because, I told my therapist yesterday, she's like, I am so impressed with everything that you're trying to put in place. And I said, I am trying to do the work. I said, I did the work to get my genetic testing done. I did that. I did the work. You guys have heard me rant about that probably 10 times right now. I did the work. That is me. I did all of that. I searched all that out. I sought all that out when being told, no, there's nothing I can do. So I've done that work and I'm ready to do the work on me. Because I was basically trained to be an emotional eater, and stopping that after 40 years is not going to be a linear process. It's just not going to be. It's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be triggers. Something happened the other day, and I told my therapist, I was like, that triggered, dealing with my mother, where she would do something, and I can't remember how old I was, but she called me stupid. And I just said, I got dressed and ready. She's like, where are you going? I was like, you don't get to speak to me that way. She's like, what? I said, you don't get to speak to me that way. I said, I'm an adult, and it's time you learn that your words have consequences. So if you're going to speak to me in that way, I'm going to leave. Like, I drew that boundary. And she would make comments about my weight. I said, my body is no longer your business. And she just looked at me. I said, I allowed you to put me on diets and put pills down my throat for 18 years. You had the right to my body for 18 years. You no longer have that right. My body is not your business. So yeah, I've had to set those boundaries, but a couple of things have happened that have just kind of pulled that up, because she's narcissistic. She's a narcissist, and some narcissists, it's like a kind of a codependent relationship where they will, be nice and kind and, give you compliments and make you feel wanted. And then 3 or 4 weeks later, they're disparaging you and you're the stupidest thing on the planet and blah, blah, blah. And so you cut ties, like you go about your separate ways, and then they come back with, well, and they just love bomb you. I think that's the word that is technically traditionally used, love bombing. So something like that happened, and I was just like, oh God, this is definitely triggering things for me. So yeah, I hope this video made sense. It's been a lot of blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I'm willing to put in the work. I'm trying to put in the work. But I've mentioned more than once that I can't do this by myself. I just can't. The therapist and I were talking yesterday. I said, because I kept saying autonomy. I was hoping for more autonomy. And she's like, well, tell me what that looks like to you. And I said, it's being able to dress myself every day. It's, the ability to get in my car and drive to wherever I want to go, just to leave the house, to meet a friend for lunch, to have a life, to do more than exist. And I said, and to lighten Rob's load. I said, he has to dress me every day. I said, I can't bend over, so he's following behind me, having to pick everything up. I told her about how we had this agreement that I would cook and he would do everything else. And I said, and I carry so much wife guilt when I can't even do that some days. So like, I feel like I want to lighten his load. I told her that the good thing about this disease is that there's a lot of community around the globe. And because this muscular dystrophy is the third most occurring, I guess. I don't know what word to say. Actually, there's somebody who left a comment on that video about how her whole family has it and how some people, really struggled with it and some people didn't. Genetics are interesting, and I don't understand them because I just kind of just was like the secretary of that project in high school. It's like proving a triangle in geometry. I went to my geometry teacher and I said, I don't understand how to do this. And he was like, you don't have to understand it, you just have to do it. And I'm like, how am I sign whatever? How am I supposed to, I got a C that year. So fucking pissed off because that's the only C I've ever had in my entire life. And it was because he told me to do it and I didn't need to understand it. And that was some bullcrap bullshit. So yeah, I'm willing to put in the work. Is what it boils down to. I'm willing to put in the work. I want to put in the work. My only issue is that I was seeing my other therapist every Monday at 9 a.m. and it was every Monday at 9 a.m. And with this therapist, since I wasn't already an established patient, I'm just being put in when she can, and my appointments are all over the place, and I hate that. But it is what it is. Unless I decide to change therapist or whatever, it is what it is. So, yeah. I hope this made sense, but you know, let me know if you want like a routine video. I almost filmed a video this weekend talking about, you know, like what my plan is going forward. But let me tell you, after decorating a 9-foot Christmas tree, it took me 4.5 hours because I would do a little bit and then I have to sit, and then I would do a little bit more and then I would have to sit. I just didn't have the energy. And one thing that I want to make sure I'm doing is kind of tracking and trying to find a correlation between symptoms. So I did that for 4 or 5 hours. I'm not even joking. I'm serious as a heart attack. And then I was sitting on the couch and my body started buzzing. You guys have heard me say that before, that my body is literally vibrating, and it did that. And then after a while, the left side of my face became very hot and very red. And then eventually that transferred over to my entire face. So my entire face was hot. My entire face was red. And then and it was like burning hot. And then like 45 minutes to an hour later, I was completely cold. It's like under a blanket, turning the fireplace on, like all of it. I'm like, okay, is there a correlation between these at all? Like, are they all caused by the same thing, or what's going on here? So, and then I've been having issues with the veins in my hand. If you've ever had a vein burst, that is a very specific type of feeling. And my veins in my hands have been hurting, and you can see they're kind of swollen. They're never this big. So when I see my regular physician on Thursday, and I'm going to talk to him about seeing a vascular specialist, because it's like my vein, they shouldn't be hurting unless they're clotting or whatever. And I don't know if you guys remember, a couple of years ago I had iron overload, but also one of the tests came back that the red blood, the flow, I don't remember which test that is, was low. So yeah, so the next few months are going to be daunting, and I need your help. I don't have community outside of, like I can consider joining those groups. That's where I was going with that. See, but I told the therapist, I was like, I want Rob to have support. I want him to be able to talk about me and about things outside of me. I just want him to have either caregiver support or something. It's just such a heavy load for him, and he's trying to work full time, and he's trying to help us and keep us afloat. And we've struggled so much through the summer with these insane electric bills. I don't know when we're going to recover. I had to empty out our emergency fund and all sorts of things. So it's been really rough. But yeah, but I got the tree up. I didn't put the garland up, but I got the tree up, and it came on with the lights. And then Rob did the outside. I'll try to insert a picture. Probably won't be today. I'll share it at some point. But we have lights that go down our sidewalk, and then we have a really pretty wreath and garland around the door. So yeah. So that's my plan for after diagnosis. Like, I have diagnosis, now what? I'm also waiting on results. So there may be other things going on that may have to be addressed next year, but we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, that's it. I've got to wash my face and stuff because I am going to the urologist later. Should I just leave on this full face of makeup and go see my urologist? I mean, I guess I could. I'm a little orange. These did not go. But I'm trying to use it up. This is the Clinique Even Better Refresh Hydrating Concealer, and I mean foundation. I actually really like the formula, but the color is not it. Maybe I will leave on a full face of makeup and go see a urologist. I'll just have to wait and see. Straighten the hair, all of things. So yeah. So anyway, that's it. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate you. Like I said, a huge thank you to everyone who's been so supportive. You guys have just been so lovely. And those of you who've mentioned that you've been with me through this entire time, thank you. Like, that is unreal to me that we've been together now 6 years, going on our 7th year. March will be 7 years that I started this kind of whole keto journey and stuff like that. So yeah, but please don't come here thinking that I'm going to teach you how to do keto. That's just not it. I don't know who I suggest. Dr. Barry started to skeeve me out a little bit. I highly don't recommend Thomas, whatever his name is, or Dr. Burke. But yeah, so I don't know. Keto Connect, I don't think they're doing anything anymore. I don't know. So anyway, yeah. that's it. All right, I'm gonna go do something, make a decision on things, and yeah. I love you guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Bye for now.